I am George Wardini, and today I'm speaking in my capacity as a board member of Proud Lebanon, which is the organization that has been responsible for lobbying and submitting the proposed decriminalization bill into Parliament. What happened last night is a precedent that we've never thought could happen in an area like Mar Mikhael or Jemaise. A group of thuggish men that emerged recently under the name of Jnud al-Rab, or Soldiers of God, have stormed a bar in Mar Mikhael that is known to be frequented by gay clients or LGBT clients. It's really one drop in a large sea of events that have continued to occur that affect people and segments of society from all walks of life. However, the only common denominator between all of these incidents is lack of justice and accountability and ultimately impunity. So I blame first the statelessness, the lawlessness, and the people who not only take advantage of it, but who ensure that this will be the status quo for the time being, the groups that can only operate in such lawlessness and statelessness. Last night shouldn't have happened to begin with. What could have happened, ideally, would have been seeing the police apprehend the criminals. However, that did not happen, and we had very low hopes that this would happen, actually zero hopes. But 2 weeks ago, there was an incident in Kahale. The army not only let the criminals be, they actually protected the militiamen. We've gone way past discussing what could have happened and should have happened. We have no hope in anything happening other than community-led defiance and resistance at this point. The people really have to draw the line here, and they are on their own. And they have to build up their defenses in a state of statelessness. So there are currently two directions taking place on this front. There are bills that have been presented to increase the punishment against homosexuality, and not only against individuals that practice it, but even individuals that advocate for decriminalization or even spread scientific awareness. On parallel lines, there's another proposed law that aims at abolishing Article 534, which is used to criminalize homosexuality, and it has been in the works since 2018, and it has finally materialized with the support of what started as 9 MPs, now 8. That represent the 3 largest Christian blocs and some independent and change MPs. The mounting attacks against the gay community in Lebanon would have happened with or without the decriminalization proposal being presented. And the reason is that this seems to be a rising trend, a global trend in politics, where authoritarian regimes that have lost the support of their populations and have failed in governing rely on this tactic to shift the focus from failed governance to moral issues. It helps these authoritative regimes build a sense of shallow unity around it and under its rule by exploiting pre-existing prejudice and hate. It's important to realize that Nasrallah did not wait for Proud Lebanon to present a law for him to mobilize. This would have happened with or without that. In Lebanon, it's very important to start drawing the lines of defense right now, rather than wait until there are more favorable conditions, because these more favorable conditions might not happen anytime soon. Yesterday's conditions were more favorable than today, and tomorrow will be less favorable than today. The trend is negative. So the sooner we act, the better, and that's why I believe that it was very important to present this law, even if, and knowing that there will be backlash. We have succeeded in turning a previously taboo or neglected subject into mainstream political discourse. We have also succeeded in unblurring the lines between people who are assumed supporters and people who are known opponents when it comes to human rights. So this was a very important step, but it's very important to continue building on it and not be satisfied with what has already been done. The bill has been already presented. We know that some MPs have refused to sign it for electoral considerations. Some others feel intimidated by the leaders of their sects. Perhaps some of these justifications could have been acceptable had the counterattack and the result not been the same. But today, no matter how afraid they feel, they need to know that there were dozens of people that were even more afraid last night as they locked themselves in bathrooms. There are hundreds, not no, even thousands of people who are afraid because they live in streets of Tripoli and Saida and even Sessin at this point, who are seeing the rise in attacks threaten their mere right to existence. So no matter how afraid they are, they bear a responsibility that they took on. This is what they signed up for, and they need to come out and break their silence and help strengthen and help advocate for justice and human rights. The head of the Catholic Church has come out and made his position clear about criminalizing or even vilifying homosexuality. A Sunni or Shia or Druze members of parliament don't enjoy the backing of their respective faith leaders. And this is reflected in the list of MPs and blocs that have so far supported this law. Even quote-unquote progressive or self-proclaimed progressive candidates that made it into parliament have been very shy and very vague when it comes to voicing their opinions on the subject, while members of parliament who come from much more conservative voter bases have felt much more comfortable in their positions. So sectarianism, not only sectarianism, I'm going to say religion does play a big role in this, and I would say that Christian blocs alongside change and independent parliamentarians have a much larger margin of maneuver in this subject than Sunni, Shia or Druze. I think the conversation around where do we draw the lines of liberties in this country is all encompassing. And what I would hope to happen is a mass sense of solidarity and mobilization for everybody who believes in the modern direction of this country and who refuses to turn this place of freedom into an ugly desert. This is what I would hope would happen, and this is what I think we should all work to make happen.